transport of food and minerals in plants. All living organisms perform various vital activities to survive, such as movement, transportation, circulation, respiration, nutrition, excretion, growth, and reproduction. All these activities are collectively called life processes. Organisms may differ in shape and size, but they perform certain similar activities. Nutrition is one such activity that is performed by all the living organisms. Nutrition. Living organisms require energy to perform life process activities, which is obtained through the food. Requirement of food in both plants and animals are basically the same. Foods are all those substances which on reaching the body synthesize protoplasm after digestion and produce energy. This energy is utilized in all the vital activities of life. The process of absorbing nutrients from food and processing them in the body to obtain energy in order to keep healthy or to grow is called nutrition. Classification on the basis of mode of nutrition. Green plants prepare their own food material. Humans and animals do not prepare their own food, but depend upon plants. Thus, on the basis of mode of nutrition, living organisms may be divided into two. 1. Autotrophic. 2. Heterotrophic. Autotrophic nutrition. The organisms which prepare their own food are called autotrophs. Auto, self, trophic, food. And this type of nutrition is called autotrophic nutrition. Green plants prepare their food and are also called producers. They possess chlorophyll, especially in their leaves that have the ability to utilize solar energy and convert it into chemical energy, food, with the help of carbon dioxide and water and oxygen is released. This process is called photosynthesis. Heterotrophic nutrition. The organisms which do not manufacture their own food material are called heterotrophs. Hetero, different, trophs, food. They depend on other organisms for their food and are also called consumers. They include fungi, bacteria, humans, and animals. The mode of nutrition of animals are called Holozoic type of nutrition. Heterotrophic nutrition in animals. The heterotrophs can be of these types. 1. Herbivores. The animals which depend upon green plants producers for their food. They are also called primary consumers. Examples: goat, rabbit, cow, elephant, etc. 2. Carnivores. The flesh-eating animals are called carnivores. Examples: tiger, lion, snake, fox, etc. 3. Omnivores. The animals which eat both flesh and plants. Examples: dog, man, cat, crow, etc. 4. Scavengers. There are few animals that consume dead animals are called scavengers. Example: vultures. Heterotrophic nutrition in plants. There are plants like fungi and bacteria which do not possess chlorophyll and therefore cannot prepare their own food. Heterotrophic nutrition in plants can be of the following types. 1. Saprophytes. The plants which depend upon dead, decayed, and rotten materials for their nutrition. Example: some bacteria and fungi, mushroom. 2. Parasites. The plants which depend upon other living organisms, plants or animals, and take ready-made food from them. The plant taking such food is called a parasite, and the organism from which food is taken is called the host. Examples: some bacteria, fungi, dodder, amarbale, etc. 3. Symbiotic plants. The plants which live on other organisms and are mutually benefited from one another. Example: lichen. The body of lichen constitutes of algae and fungi, where an alga contains chlorophyll and prepares food, whereas fungal part gives shelter to the algae. 4. Insectivorous plants. The insects-eating plants are called insectivorous plants. In these plants, the leaves are modified which help in catching the insects. Examples: pitcher plant, sundew plant, Venus flytrap, etc. 5. Decomposers. There are certain microorganisms as bacteria, fungi, decompose the dead remains of plants and animals, are called decomposers. They maintain the balance of nutrients in nature. Autotrophic nutrition in plants. The green plants prepare their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. All the green parts of the plants manufacture food material through the green pigment called chlorophyll. It is a process in which green plants synthesize food from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. In this process, oxygen is released. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight gives rise to food, sugar plus oxygen. 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll gives rise to C6H12O6 plus 6O2. Photosynthesis is the most vital process which is capable of using solar energy, sunlight. Do you know that it is the largest single process which utilizes about 200 billion tons of carbon in the form of carbon dioxide each year and manufactures food? All the essential commodities of life such as food, coal, diesel, petrol, oil, oxygen, etc. are the byproducts of this process. Place of photosynthesis. The phenomenon of photosynthesis takes place in the green parts of the plant. It occurs mainly in the leaf and sometimes in the green stems. The leaves have certain structures which help in photosynthesis. The leaf has the following important structures that are helpful in photosynthesis. 1. Stomata. These are the minute openings found on the surface of the leaf. Carbon dioxide enters through these pores and oxygen is released. 2. Chloroplast. Photosynthesis occurs in the leaves and green stems within a special structure called the chloroplast. Raw material. These raw materials are required for photosynthesis. 1. Carbon dioxide. It is taken from the atmosphere and enters through the stomata. 2. Water. Roots absorb water from the soil. These raw materials are used during photosynthesis in the green pigments called chloroplast. This can take place only in the presence of sunlight. End product. The end product of photosynthesis is the food in the form of carbohydrates. In this process, oxygen is released, which is an important byproduct on which living organisms depend. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of sunlight in chloroplast gives rise to carbohydrate, food plus oxygen. Thus, it can be said that the leaf is a factory of food manufacture where solar energy is converted into chemical energy, carbohydrate. These carbohydrates are ultimately converted into different types of food material and stored in the roots, stems, and fruits. Stomata. The minute openings mostly on the lower surface of the leaves are called stomata. These openings are surrounded by two bean-shaped cells called the guard cells. Guard cells contain chloroplasts. This structure, which includes the guard cells and a pore, is called the stroma. When the stomata open, carbon dioxide and oxygen pass in or out respectively. Stomata close at night. Factors affecting photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis is affected by these factors. 1. Light. The rate of photosynthesis increases with the intensity of light. The rate of photosynthesis is maximum in red light. 2. Carbon dioxide. On increasing the concentration of carbon dioxide, the rate of photosynthesis increases. However, if the concentration is very high, it decreases. 3. Temperature. The optimum temperature for photosynthesis is between 25 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius. 4. Water. It reduces with the decrease of water content. 5. Chlorophyll. If chlorophyll concentration is less, the rate of photosynthesis is adversely affected. Activity. To demonstrate that light is essential for photosynthesis. Materials required. A potted plant, leaves should be broad, black paper, iodine solution, alcohol, water, beaker, a test tube, tripod stand, wire gauge, and a burner. Methodology. Keep the plant in a dark place for 2 to 3 days for destarching. Partly cover the leaf with black paper so that sunlight does not reach the leaf. Keep the plant in light for 6 hours. Pluck the leaf from the plant. Remove the chlorophyll from the leaf by keeping it in boiling water. Wash the leaf in fresh water and spread over a dish. Spread a few drops of iodine solution over the leaf. Observation. The exposed part to the light of the leaf turns blue in color. The covered portion of leaf remains colorless. Conclusion. Starch is formed due to photosynthesis where light could reach. Therefore, it proves that light is essential for photosynthesis. Note: by keeping the plant in a dark place, destarching is done. Since light is essential for photosynthesis, no starch formation will be there. Activity. To demonstrate that chlorophyll is essential for the photosynthesis. Materials required. Potted plant, croton or coleus, which have green and yellow parts, iodine solution, alcohol, water, beaker, test tube, tripod stand, wire gauge, and burner. Methodology. Keep the plant in a dark place for 2 to 3 days for destarching. Keep the plant in light for 6 hours. Pluck the leaf from the plant. Remove the chlorophyll from the leaf by keeping it in boiling alcohol. Wash the leaf in fresh water and spread over a dish. Spread a few drops of iodine solution over the leaf. Observation. Dark blue color is seen only in the green parts, but the yellow parts do not turn blue. Conclusion. This shows that starch formation takes place only in that part of leaf which has chlorophyll. Activity. To demonstrate that oxygen is evolved in the process of photosynthesis. Materials required. Beaker, test tube, funnel, hydrilla plant, aquatic plant, water, and candle. Methodology. A water-filled beaker is taken along with hydrilla plants. Insert some hydrilla plants in the inverted funnel. A test tube filled with water is inverted on the funnel. Keep this apparatus in sunlight. Observation. You will see the bubbles of gas which displaces the water downwards. Conclusion. This gas can be tested by introducing a burning candle, which remains burning. This proves that evolved gas is oxygen. Minerals for plants. The plants need certain minerals for their growth. On the basis of required quantities, they are classified into 1. Macronutrients. These are the elements that are required in large quantities. Example: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, iron, sulfur, and magnesium. 2. Micronutrients. These are the elements that are required in a very small quantity. Example, copper, zinc, boron, manganese, and molybdenum. They are also called trace elements. Deficiency diseases due to lack of nutrients. Nutrients, diseases. Nitrogen, yellowing of leaves, chlorosis. Phosphorus, poor growth, premature leaf fall. Potassium, shortening of plants. Iron, yellowing of leaves. Calcium, plants remain dwarf, margin of leaves curled. Sulfur, leaves become yellow or red. Transportation of water and minerals in plants. Like animals, plants also have a mechanism of transportation of mineral solution. This takes place through a system called vascular system. In plants, vascular system consists of two types of conducting tissues. Xylem. Xylem consists of mainly thick and tubular cells forming a pipe-like structure. It conducts water and minerals from the ground to the stems and leaves. Phloem. These are long, thin tubular structures placed one above the other. It conducts food produced in the leaves to the stems, roots, storage parts, and reproductive organs. The movement of food substances from the region of synthesis to the region of utilization is called translocation. Thus, during transportation, three processes are involved. 1. Absorption of water and mineral solution. 2. Rise of cell sap. Ascent of sap. 3. Translocation of food material. Absorption of water and minerals. Plants absorb water and mineral salts from the soil with the help of their roots. The solution of water and mineral salts is termed as capillary water and present between the soil particles called pore spaces. Along with water, mineral salts also enter the roots of the plant by the process of osmosis, diffusion, and active transport. 1. Osmosis. It involves the movement of solvent molecules, water, from a region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. In root hair cell, the cell sap is more concentrated than the surrounding capillary water. Thus, water moves into the root hair cell by the process of osmosis. 2. Diffusion. It involves the movement of any molecules, solid, liquid, or gas, from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. 3. Active transport. It involves the movement of substances from a less concentrated region by utilizing energy in the form of ATP. Mineral salts are absorbed by the roots through active transport. Rise of cell sap, ascent of sap. In plants, it is an important feature to carry out vital activities which occur through xylem and phloem. Water is absorbed through the roots and conducted to other parts of the plant where it is used for various purposes. The minerals in the form of water solution are also absorbed by the xylem from the soil. Thus, xylem acts as a pipeline for conducting water. The water and mineral solution that is absorbed by the roots and are conducted upwards to the stems, leaves, flowers, and other parts of the plant is called ascent or rise of cell sap. Translocation of food material. The prepared food material reaches from leaf to different plant organ is called translocation of food material. It is known that phloem cells are involved in the transport of soluble food material from leaves to different plant organs. This movement of food from the phloem cells is bidirectional, that is, food can move up and downwards simultaneously. Activity. To show the upward movement of water in plants. Method. Take a fresh potted plant of tomato. Cut its shoot near the soil. Fix a glass tube and tighten the connection with a rubber band. Add water in the tube so that the cut surface does not dry up. Add 2 or 3 drops of oil to prevent evaporation. Add water in the pot and see to the level of water rising up. This is due to root pressure caused by absorption of water. Result: the level of water rises up due to root pressure caused by the absorption of water. This shows the upward movement of water. Activity: to prove that translocation of food material occurs through phloem. Method: in a woody stem, all the outer parts, that is, phloem, is removed in the form of ring or girdle. This includes phloem along with the bark. It is kept moist by keeping wet cloth around the ring. After 2 to 3 days, a swelling is observed just above the ring. This portion of stem swells up due to the accumulation of food material in the tissues. This is because the prepared food by the leaves does not reach below the ring due to removal of phloem. Result: this proves that phloem is essential for the translocation of food material. Transpiration. You know that plants absorb a large amount of water from the soil, but the plants do not consume the entire water. Only 2 to 5% of the total absorbed water is utilized by the plants. Rest of the water is lost from the aerial parts of the plants in the form of water vapor. Thus, the process in which excess water is lost from the leaves in the form of water vapor is called transpiration. Activity: to show that transpiration occurs through leaves. Method: take a well-watered potted plant on a glass plate and cover it by a dry bell jar. The apparatus is made airtight through Vaseline. After some time, the bell jar becomes misty and a few small droplets will also be seen on the inner surface of the bell jar. Result: this shows water vapor formed during transpiration has condensed on the inner surface of the bell jar in the form of droplets.